Back. We are trying out a few new methods of delivery. I try to keep up to date with my the social media that they'll allow me to have, because I've taken a pretty hardline stance against the powers that be. The funding behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz, gets to pull the plug anytime they want. So I'm saving these locally, and more so spiritually than anything. Like I said, I've done everything that I need to do on this earth to be content. So all of this is really just summarizing for the benefit of anybody that will listen. One of the things I wish that my father had done for me is been more open about how to overcome certain struggles that I know that we both encountered. So it probably does come across as like a bitterness, but I knew, like I said, when my mother had her first seizure, it wasn't her first seizure by any means. She was having seizures, back in her early 20s. So. But when she had one at the dinner table, even at 4 or 5 years old, I knew that, I wasn't going to be able to rely on my father in any kind of practical way. And the way he would make me beg for certain things without giving a clear answer, even if he just said, no, we're not doing this because, certainly he did say, we don't have the money for this. And even if you're lying, that's better than just staying silent, because the it's like a weird power trip you're trying to play. And frankly, I wish he would have just told me that he never wanted me around. Like when he called me a house guest after my mother died, that really pissed me off. Because if I'm a house guest, I don't have to do work. I just need to pay the rent, and then I can come and go as I please. I don't have to have any kind of curfew if I'm a house guest. So, right now, the treatment that I'm getting and the triggers that I'm receiving from white and Jew America are no worse at all than what I received as a child. And he will probably have some kind of retort about how poverty in India is different than, emotional fatiguing here. But a Hindu can say that, a Patel can say that. He cannot, not with his level of Aquinas level spiritual wealth. So we're going to play your game, and we're going to play it the way you want, and I never hit you. So we're going to see who the big dog is now. And we're going to see if your masters will stick up for you. And we're going to see how much of an asset or a liability you are. Because one thing I learned about white people is that they will always accept your self-deprecation. But you can never say anything self-deprecating about yourself where they will defend the opposite. So I've lived long enough in this world to know how the demons operate. I don't need any Holy Spirit discernment for that. So one of the things I want to do, even though I've beat the game, a lot of my brothers and sisters may not have. And since our women have decided that white dick is the solution to their problems, that's not a solution that's going to work for my sons. Okay? So you guys go and whore it up, Jesseline. You go ahead and do whatever you want to do. But you only get to play that card once. Once you turn 30, it's a wrap. Because that pink meat ages you like dog shit. So boys, What we want to do is we want to make sure that we're developing our character in such a way that we never rely on anybody's pity for our livelihood. Okay? So, Proverbs is very right whenever it says it's better to be on the corner of a rooftop than in a house with a quarrelsome woman. I keep going back to that. My mother always liked it, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not unto your own understanding, blah, blah, blah. But Jesus also instructed us to be wise like foxes, okay? Gentle as doves, but wise like foxes, okay? People like to neglect that part, okay? And Jesus did not go to an Islamic temple and turn over the tables. He did not go to a church and turn over tables. He did not knock Saul the Hindu off of a donkey. These were all Jewish people that Jesus absolutely whooped the shit out of. Okay? So, I am operating well within my spiritual right. All right. Now, you're never going to be the tallest man in the room. You're never going to be the most largest man in the room. Okay? But you can make sure that your appearance and your hygiene is optimized. Okay? So I've given you Texas Movement Performance to help you accomplish this. You have a general exercise library, you have the beginner's workout if you're not familiar with the gym, and then you have my entire track and field blueprint. And I have taken the losses at the professional level. Even though I ran in amateur competitions, I raced against professionals even to the level of racing against some gold medalists. Okay? As far as your representation, you have that at the highest level. So all you have to do is get in shape. Okay. So some of the North Indian vegetarian stuff you have to be kind of careful about because those curries have a strong odor. So you want to mix up that palate a little bit. Okay, so find out what balances out your family's cuisine from an odor perspective. Make sure that when you're doing your laundry or you're using good quality detergent that can neutralize those scents. Okay, we're not in a place that appreciates who we are or our history. Okay, remember, get rid of your self-hatred. Okay, there's nothing wrong with having melanin. There's nothing wrong with having straight hair texture. Okay, you may think that proximity to blackness will give you added sexual advantage with white women. Look, I mean, if that's what you want to do, go for it. But make sure that you're not pursuing anything sexually because of self-deprecation or self-hatred. Okay, I know a few people that I grew up with who may have been looking at my appearance and thinking that that was the way to go. God didn't choose me because of my melanin. Okay, He chose me to do my purpose because I looked at best practices of everybody who served God well at their best and tried to imitate that as well. So if you look at Kobe's story or anybody who's gotten to the highest level of their craft or their profession, they were always trying to absorb best practices from everybody. So if you want to call yourself American, that's the way you should do it. Okay? So, and I'm still 37. Okay? So Kim Collins ran sub 10 at 40 years old. So as soon as we can overcome these small obstacles, we'll get back on track, and then we will turn Chicago around. Absolutely, no question about it. Okay, so we've got people that want us to starve and do all that type of stuff. We don't have a guarantee that it's the end of the world yet. So we gotta keep pushing forward, even though it is not an ideal situation for us right now. Okay. I don't like being super open and vulnerable and stuff, but I recognize that because I have a few advantages, it would be beneficial to you if I have a little bit more vulnerability from the alpha level perspective. Okay? So like I said before, I'm operating as Jesus because I'm going to literally fight white Jesus until I die. Okay? That I can promise you. I do not care what happens. That fucking lie is going to die with me. I promise you that. Okay? So I apologize for any discomfort the white American church has caused you and your identity. I'm talking to my brothers now. okay? And the entire diaspora is under my supervision now, whether that's Caribbean, whether that is in India and Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Andaman Islands, Aboriginals even, if you guys want to come along. All of you in Dubai, we're going to handle that, okay? And then London, everybody, okay? You don't have to like me, you don't have to follow me, you don't have to fuck with me, but my life belongs to you, okay? So we're not going to tolerate any more disrespect. We're going to stand up on our own 2 feet, okay? Some things are worth dying for. And I hope you know by now that, every advantage I have had, I've tried to optimize and maximize for this exact reason. Okay, my dad wanted me to optimize and maximize my advantages to go and work to be his personal pension plan. He's a fucking idiot maestro, like most of your parents. How dare you come to a place with all the opportunity in the world and have a desire to continue slavery when yours was so traumatizing. And I don't blame your parents as much as I do this man here, because all he fucking did was stay in a room reading books from both black and white perspectives. From both African American and British perspectives. The best of the best. Every ounce of fun he sucked the life out of. And my lack of submission to that spiritual abuse is the reason for my exile. And in all reality, for my mother's death. So he has to be accountable for that, and your parents, your fathers, have to be accountable for what they've done to you. God did not create you to be a cowering incel worm, begging for the approval of an absolutely mediocre white male supervisor, and begging for the closest thing you could find to a white female. But gosh, you should be ashamed of yourself. But I know that was also an attack on my identity as well. So, as usual, I have to absolve you all. And we suffer because of white America's complete impotence when it comes to telling their own women to shut the fuck up. That's why we have to deal with women all over ESPN. And now the infection of transgenders in the hosting roles. One thing I'm trying to do in this late stage of the game is to not devolve into complete rage bait responses. We need to think practically, and we need to think wisely about action-based efforts. And the best action I think we can take is by directly opposing the Jewish community. So the Anti-Defamation League, AIPAC, anybody related to mainstream media, all mainstream podcasters, they usually have some type of Jewish partnership or representation hiding in the background. From what I understand, Leor Cohen, who kind of sabotaged the Rockefeller Records, Dame Dash, and Jay-Z a long time ago, he's now the head of the music of YouTube. So YouTube is going to be very unfriendly. We're going to have to deal with Jews in any type of media or tech platform. Okay, Sam Altman is a gay male that runs ChatGPT. I don't use ChatGPT. And frankly, I try to minimize my use of AI chatbot type programs because of their slanted bias. But all of you who are in the tech world, at some point in your life, you need to do something courageous. Okay? Get over your self-hatred. Okay? I didn't like middle school either. All right? But we tried to make the best of it. And everything I'm doing is for you monkeys. So that our sons don't have to go through what we went through. Your parents aren't going to identify with what your teenage life was like. Asking them to try to resonate with that is impossible. Okay? That's why I'm here. I saw this problem 25 years ago. Okay? So, only Malayalis have to call me sir. Because their failure is twofold. And they know it. Especially you Pentecostals. You don't have a single excuse in the world. Your failure is yours and yours alone. And it will be confirmed up there. That I promise you. But like I said, gloating is not good sportsmanship. Okay? Act like a champion before you are the champion. Get in the ring at least once in your life. If you haven't gotten in the ring, you can't speak to me with any real kind of authority. Okay? Have you seen how I speak with fighters? Do I talk disrespectfully to them? No. Even though their sport is rigged, sparring and training is very real. Okay? So, watch your fucking mouth around real people. Okay? Same thing with street business. As far as possible, wear your hat straight. That's a metaphor. And if you get into trouble, you're going to be responsible for the consequences. So, we've been guilty, and this is my message to Cook County and beyond. We've been guilty of a lot of stolen valor when it comes to culture. And a lot of my urgency, my sense of urgency, has been to make up for that fraudulent behavior. Because, like my father, a lot of our culture has taken the Jewish community's trickery as their best practices. That's why Vivek Ramaswamy has to do all these laps when he's running for governor of Ohio. Okay? I want you to go back and do your homework of when he first appeared. Who opened the door for him? There's a college in India called St. Stephen's. All Hindu student body. We're definitely a fractured diaspora. And we have a very colonized mindset similar to many African nations. But the wise among us know who paved the way for our life here. And I want Chicago to know that I stand firmly on the right side of history when it comes to that. Even if I've made cultural mistakes here or there, they're very few and far between. And like I said many times, you can check my resume. I make mistakes in white America every day and I do not give a fuck about it. Okay? But around black America and Spanish-speaking America, we know who keeps this country going. Okay? So everything I build is also for you. And if there's anything I can do to make your lives easier, or Texas movements more specifically, and if there's anything we can do to build something better for all of us, I'm happy to do it. But once again, it is going to be dependent on the resources I have access to. Okay? So as much as I would like to take on the Jews by myself and not bother anybody else, their cancer has metastasized in this country and in our culture is too much for me to do it alone. So I may not change the world, but maybe I spark the mind of the people that will. Okay? So, pray for me if you can. Okay? I'm kind of just swinging for the fences sometimes. It's very cold in Chicago now. I don't get the opportunity to train the way I want to train when it comes to track and field related stuff. That's usually my outlet. I'm doing a lot more calisthenic work here, mobility stuff, trying to open up my hips a little bit more, get a little bit more access to, the explosive edges. So I hope everybody else's winter training is going well, and I hope we can get a chance to test out some speed here soon. Okay, so that's all I think for today. I think we used the time well today. We'll brainstorm a little bit more on some topics and take a look at the algorithm and see what the best direction is going forward. Okay, have a great night, and we'll talk soon.